with your host, Vocab Malone.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It has been a minute, hasn't it? I've been putting out stuff, but if you follow me on social media, you know what's been going on. I've been at the annual Evangelical Theological Society meeting out in Denver, Colorado. I was able to get there thanks to you guys who supported for my birthday and also through Patreon and most especially through the GoFundMe campaign. This is Vocab Malone, some people's favorite Christian apologist. I don't know why. And this is Backpack Radio, and we are live indeed. We're going to be discussing a few different things. Very interesting, very interesting stuff that we're going to do. But here's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to actually try to do 2 shows in a row. And so I'm going to end this in an hour, and then we're going to start up the other one. I have my reasons, which I'll explain later. It's just an experiment. We'll see if it goes well. But on today's show, I am going to have Abu Khamr as well. But as you can tell by the empty space next to me, see the empty space there? He is not called in yet. So you know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to start the show off with a freestyle because I think I owe you guys a freestyle. Now, while I'm doing this, please grab the link and share it. And please hit that like button. We are going to get started just crazy, like right off the bat. So, here we go. Uh-oh. Okay, guys, let me know about the sound. Tell me about the sound, all right. Okay. Here we go. You know what I got right here, y'all. On the 1, 3, 2, yeah. It may be late, but I've got my coffee. I got the Rocky beat. What's up, Roxby? Hello? I don't got Loxy. My hair is short. Rhyming is my sport. Up and down the court with my mic cohorts. Hello, how you doing? I will not abort mission, but I continue to be a Christian with a vision. I'm spitting so vicious, dishes, delicious. It's a tasty sandwich. Hey yo, make my manwich. Hey yo, but I don't got no man bun. Vocab Malone, I'm strong like Samson. Not with a handgun, don't claim to be handsome. Christ paid my ransom. The reason is all that and some. The reason because of his bleeding. Yes, I own it. His atonement. I love it. I want it. I got it. He gave it. Yes, in the last day, he'll raise it. I blaze it. Cause I got the caffeine. Hey, what's up, team? How you doing on the scene? I got the squad, the mod squad in the house. We so quiet, you could call us a mouse. Until the beat drops, and then we hit the spot. We bring the fire, cause we like it a lot. So now, we're burning, the podcast you're learning. Yes, you're yearning to hear it. I'm German and Italian. Ride the beat like a stallion. Hello, fly up in the air like a falcon. Vocab Malone, the show is about him. Yes, y'all. You know he's gonna win in the end. Read the book of Revelation chapter 10. Rock the mic for my Mexicans and my Puerto Ricans and all the other races. It's beautiful to see your avatars, your faces. Jesus is gracious, so we make the song Amazing Grace. On and on, rocking on and on until the break of dawn. Hello, how you doing? Hit the like button with your thumb. Pass the baton when you're done. Don't be dumb, gotta be smart. My name is John Mark, I spit this art. I go to the charts, just kidding, yeah. But I rock like a fart blowing out in the middle of the mosque. What's up, Act 17, your hair looks like moss. Yes, y'all, I ride the beat, call me Rick Ross, just kidding. Hey yo, I'm a Christian. Hey yo, I'm ribbon. Hey yo, I'm flipping. Hey yo, I'm fibbing. So cut the ribbon. Yes, y'all. Beat the beat like my name was Gibbons. Enticing, make an ice spin. Hello, how you doing? You know we gonna win. Yes, victorious. He can't ignore us. There's more than 4 of us. Okay, we're like the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors for Christ. This beat is nice. What's up? I see Act 17 Apologetics in the house. What's up? Uh-oh, we got the Hebrew Israelites in the house. It's good to have you, David. Yes, it's No Shave November, y'all. And so, that's why I got this little thing right here. Because, see, what it is it looks funnier. I understand. It looks funny, especially in the beginning. Because of my other job, I'm bivocational, some of y'all know. I can't grow a full beard. They don't let me, right? But since it's no shave, November. Just gonna mess around with this for a while. Some of y'all won't like it. Yes, GMS girds your loins. I'm German Italian. Everybody knows they're so obsessed with ethnicity. But that's alright, we're gonna talk about y'all today. Okay, so I'm very, very excited to start the show. I think I owed you that freestyle. Now listen, if you guys want another freestyle, I will give it to you. But you've got to get 100 viewers up in here, or you got to raise 50 in the super chat. Those are the two ways to do it. All right, so we're switching back over. I'm going to check my man Abu. He's still not here, so you know what we're going to do? We're going to break something down. But first, I need to share my screen, okay? I'm going to show you guys something. This is sort of a news apologetics show, right? This particular show, where something comes up and it's relevant in the news. Okay, can you guys see what I'm looking at here? Okay, you can. All right. Now, here we are. This is what the show is about today, everybody. So we're going over here. Okay. Here we are. We are at the Daily Mail website. They got all kinds of crap on the side, so please forget about that. Now, I want you to look at this. Look at this. See the date line there? November 13th, 2018. Today is November 20th, so this is a week ago. But a lot of you guys have not heard about this, right? Dozens of Black Hebrew Israelites who claim they and not the Jews are the true descendants of the biblical Hebrews descend on Capitol Hill for a protest. Now, I gotta be honest. That's like a horrible headline. Whoever wrote that, they need to go back to journalism school. What? Let's make it concise, people. Whatever, though. So here are the bullet points for the story. Hebrew Israelites staged a protest near the U.S. Capitol building on Tuesday. They were seen wearing their traditional robes and insignia. Yeah, traditional from, the late 90s. Hebrew Israelites believe Jews are fraudulent worshipers of Satans and white should die. The group operates dozens of churches in states nationwide. Ariel Zilber. This may not be the best article, but at least I give them credit because at least there's some news article that is covering this, because this is a news story. Now, they say dozens. I've looked at the photographs. There was at least 100 Hebrew Israelites who marched out at the U.S. Capitol last Tuesday. This story doesn't really tell you anything about it. All they do is call them an extremist hate group. When they start quoting the SPLC, you know that these news media outlets know nothing about the Hebrew Israelites. They need to call me or call K-Dub or something, who's in the chat, by the way. What up? I mean, shoot, Warrior Woman probably knows more about the Hebrew Israelites than this reporter. I'm not hating. I'm just saying that you guys, when you cover the Hebrew Israelites, it's obvious you don't know what you're talking about. All you do is quote the SPLC, who's not a credible organization, and then just call them a hate group and extremist. But here's the key, because this is clear to everybody. You see this paragraph right here? They were seen dressed out in their traditional regalia and carrying megaphones, though it is unclear what it was they were protesting. Oh, the stupid video's playing in the bottom. Let me try to stop that. I hate this site. It has all kinds of extra junk on it. How do I get rid of that? Okay. Now, this is true, everybody. The Hebrew Israelites, the ICGJC specifically, so this is only one camp, right? They have not made it known why they were out there. We've been following their little media and whatnot, and they've not made it clear. Now, look, if you're going to stage a protest, don't you want to let people know why it is? Now, the only person who could have organized this is Tazadakia. Who is Tazadakia? He is the chief high priest and the God-sent comforter. And an apostle as well, a.k.a. Jermaine Grant, a former cameraman at One West in Harlem. So he leads the actual flagship group out of all the One West Hebrew Israelites, meaning they're the ones who retained the original members and sort of organizational structure the most from the old One West school. Now, there's all kind of splinters. You see we have a bunch of GMS members in the live chat. Be nice to them, y'all. They're fragile souls. But within that, this group is the one who lays the claim to being the real school, even though they've changed their name since they left, so it's very confusing. Nonetheless, this doesn't help us, but they do show some pictures. Now, I'm going to exegete these pictures later on, okay? You see these pictures? I'm going to show these later on, okay? Now, this is interesting. You got a police officer there. This is probably my favorite picture. That guy's like, you the man. And so all they do is try to explain their beliefs, which, excuse me, it's obvious that it's a ripoff from the SPLC stuff, so this is kind of lazy journalism. But at least, you know, they have covered this, because a lot of other media outlets have it. Except, you guys know BuzzFeed? Yeah, a bunch of anti-Christian garbage on the website, I know. But BuzzFeed News last week considered, they did a thing that was like 22 images that best encapsulate the news, like 22 hottest images. And guess what? They included an image from this march in their little 22 images on BuzzFeed News. And also there's Reuters and there's Getty Images that have captured a lot of images. So media people were there, but they're just not really reporting what the deal was, meaning why were these guys out there. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play a video. It's about 10 minutes. I'm going to pause it, and it's a video that Abu created. I edited down, okay? And it's going to explain to you the history of marching in public from a Hebrew Israelite perspective. This is a very, very interesting, important video that I'm about to show you guys. So please pay attention to this. This will give you a background to this, because it's a big deal, isn't it? When a group rallies 100 people and marches on the Capitol, that's a pretty big deal, and they were quite a sight to see. You saw the uniforms. So here we are to explain it to you. Here's the historical background of the deal, and we're going to come back and explain it later, because this has to do with apologetics and what groups believe about ecclesiology as well as other matters. So here we go with it. Be sure to hit the like button, by the way, because I see the Hebrew Israelites disliking this.
And commented on the march organized by Israel United in Christ in Memphis, Tennessee last Saturday. I wanted to offer a bit of the historical context which serves as background or a root of the display. I've seen some critics of Israel United in Christ describe the march as meaningless or pointless, or even wave it off as quote-unquote stupid. And therefore I think it may be helpful to discuss the historical trend of which it is a part, as it has a design and an intended point. Throughout this history of the original group and the splinter groups, when the membership of a group made it possible, there were various attempts to put their numbers on display, both.
So these all these acronyms here are show the history of the Hebrew Israelites. I'm not going to break down all these acronyms right now. That's not the point of the show. That's other shows. I've done that in many other videos. This is just to give you an idea. Abu did an excellent job. By the way, guys, let me know how the sound is on here. He speaks a little quiet. I think he likes to do videos when his daughter's sleeping. But please let me know. By the way, there's almost 100 people watching. That means I'm going to do another freestyle. All we need is 8 more. So grab this link right now, share it, and please hit the thumbs up button, because 100 people watching but only 25 likes. Hit that like button so we can get that up there. Okay, here goes.
In their indoor festivals, like their Passover feast, as well as in various public marches or drills. For example, dating back to the early 90s, the precursor to the Hebrew Academy, which encompassed remedial academic subjects, doctrinal classes, physical training, rudimentary martial arts, and military drills, would sometimes conduct their exercises and marching drills outside in full public view. By 2004, the ICGJC's elaborate feasts and public marches got briefly shown in a segment on VH1.
Nothing angrier than a black Jew. The Black Israelites.
Now, these splits and the subsequent splinter groups are fairly well known among those interested in the subject of One West descended Israelites. However, one split that's not much discussed is one which predated the Masha House of David split. That earlier minor split happened when a man called Abu Khamr broke away from the ICUPK. I mention this split because it has some relevance to the subject of the public displays of organization and numbers by the ICUPK. I do have an anecdote to share in this regard. It turns out that Abu Khamr broke away from the ICUPK, and there was a brief period in which he and perhaps a small band of men loyal to him would set up camp in Harlem. They would have their own camp separate from the ICUPK. Now, on at least one occasion, Abu Khamr's small camp was set up on a sidewalk.
Let me pause the video there real quick. So what Abu explaining is the history of the splits of the One West styled Hebrew Israelites who come out of Harlem. That's the main ones I deal with. We have a bunch of GMS members in the chat. They are One West descendants. That's where they descended from. Now, a lot of times they don't know their own history. So forgive these guys. You know, they're in here. They probably don't know what they're talking about half the time themselves. Only the older guys know their history, and sometimes they put a little spin on it. So Abu was giving you the history as it really is, and he went to great lengths to do this little graphic. And what he's doing is showing how these marches, by the way, 2 more people, we've got 100 viewers, so keep it up, people. These marches are designed basically for like a sort of a measuring contest. They're sort of who's bigger, who's better, who's badder, right? And so this goes back to when groups would split off. They would sort of intimidate them by numbers. Now, I'm going to play this. Only a few times that we know of was there violence, okay? So this isn't about gang warfare like, in the Warriors or something. We're not saying that's what is happening. But certainly it's definitely a dog and pony show that is going on. Here it goes.
Preaching, and a much larger group from the ICUPK went and stood on that same sidewalk in opposition to Abu Amalak's camp. A larger group was out there to display their superior numbers. The point was for the ICUPK to draw attention to themselves. They were even telling interested pedestrians that Abu Amalak's group was, in their words, a counterfeit breakaway group. And they'd even quote the reference in Jeremiah 23:30 to the prophets who steal the Lord's word. As I said, I don't have any footage of that particular event, but the ICUPK was known for marching large numbers of members through Harlem to put their size and power on display. In this regard, consider, for example, a clip of members of GMS discussing precisely that practice.
Years ago.
Okay, so GMS is all up in the chat. Welcome, guys. Mods, try to leave them in here because they need a free history lesson, so I'm pleased to provide that on Backpack Radio today. And so here's what we've got. We've got a clip with GMS members in it, right? And in this clip, you're going to hear them talking about these marches and gathering around people. Now, he's going to swear a little bit, so PG-13, rated R, whatever. I don't know. Just cover your ears if you got kids, but... it's people talking on the street. What do you expect?
We call them missions. Like if somebody messed with a brother, we would call the whole school, all the camps. We were big back then. So we might have like 1,000 dudes and we would march on motherfuckers, man. And we wouldn't do nothing. Well, whatever.
Just show the power that what can happen to your neighborhood.
And we would roll up on them and say, look, man, you the Israelite brothers.
Hear that? It just show the power of what can happen to your neighborhood. That was Elder Tahar, by the way, who sometimes comes on with the handle of what is the 666 mark or something like that. And so this is GMS talking about the old school when they used to all be together. So you got GMS here saying, I'm talking about in the live chat, we're not affiliated with any Hebrew Israelite group. Well, they all are as far as their parents. They're long-lost brothers and sisters who can't get along, so they always fight. But certainly they're affiliated with them in the sense that they all come out of the same lineage, even though they all think they're better than the other. But here's GMS talking about the olden days when they were one big happy family, but not really because they had splits even then, and that's where the marches come in.
Mess with no Israelite brothers. When you see the brothers on the table, don't fuck with no Israelite brothers, man. And niggas will back up.
Moreover, years later, the ICGJC continued.
So it's intimidation, and that's what's so interesting is I'm going to do the second show later tonight, and we're going to show some Hebrew Israelites with some Muslims. And Hebrew Israelites are always very aggressive and willing to get in your face, but when they get around Muslims, all of a sudden they become gentlemen and very soft-spoken. And I think a big part of that has to do with the numbers issue. Oh, shoot. We got David Wood in the house with the super chat, sent $25. Thank you. You're the first one of the night. We're halfway there to a second freestyle and actually one more viewer, and we're going to get it because we're at 99 viewers and we just got 25. And he says, spin this on a razor and some shaving cream. Hey, appreciate that, bro. I took some extra stuff from the hotel that we were in, and so I got some shaving cream and a razor, so I can do that. Okay, here I go.
Continued the practice, with perhaps one of their most famous examples coming around 2005 in Philadelphia, when the ICGJC sent out a number of men to stand in opposition to the above-mentioned breakaway group called Light and Body Church.
Look at this. So this is ICGJC. Their rivals call them the Red and Whites. Now, they're much smaller than they used to be, but this is footage where they're standing out with some rivals there in Philly, the Light and Zion, who are the precursors to GOCC, and they're just showing, hey, we're bigger than you. Now, these days, they're probably not bigger, although they might be meaner.
As was the case more than a decade prior with Abu Khamr's group in New York, the point here was to draw attention to themselves, to show their superior numbers, and to try to convince spectators that the smaller group was inferior or counterfeit or whatever. I guess in those days they were calling them antichrists, and perhaps they used the same language on Abu Khamr.
Oh, look, GMS. I already rapped GMS in whatever your name is. GMS Gird Your Loins asks very nicely, can you post the video you're playing now, vocab? I aim to please, and since I'm going to, according to your theology, be your servant one day, I might as well get started now, right? So you ask, I'll do it. Tomorrow I'll post this video so you guys can see it. And again, like I said, brush up on your history. I'm glad you guys are here. Here we go.
Some speculated that the point of this exercise was to intimidate Light and Body Church, for the large group to intimidate the smaller group, and perhaps even get into a fight. So therefore, it's probably worth noting that members of the ICGJC themselves later responded to such claims by noting that they never touched them and claiming that their only intention was to have a crowd of witnesses.
All the brothers that was in front of you.
So here's ICGJC, which stands for Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ, which their leader now is the two main leaders are in trouble for tax fraud and evasion and all kinds of other stuff. But here they're talking about the incident, saying we didn't touch anybody. That's what they're going to be saying. We were just there to have a cloud of witnesses. Okay, we've got over 100 viewers. All right, well, I still appreciate the super chats, everybody, but we will do a freestyle before the end of this show, which, remember, we're going to end this show, and then we're going to go live again, because what I want to do is make 2 separate videos tonight, and this way I don't have to edit them later. So there is a second show where we're going to show you guys clips of Hebrew Israelites debating Muslims in New York City. That's going to be special, so we've got to hurry up and get this, because we only have 30 more minutes to do. Here we go.
It was a great company of witnesses, that's it. Ain't nobody touch you niggas, so why you faggots acting like brothers was threatening you? It was just a big group of witnesses, so brothers could see that you niggas a bunch of hypocrites and liars. That's it. Hey, listen.
Whatever the case, aside from these public displays, where you have the crowds in public, as I alluded to earlier, the ICGJC would also display their numbers at their celebrations, at their feasts. For a certain period, in fact, their Passovers seemed to become ever larger, more organized, and more elaborate with each passing year. And I would say that perhaps their most impressive display came at their Passover in 2009.
Okay, so let me stop here real quick. Passover is this annual get-together where they say it's from the biblical Passover, but if you read what happens in the Bible's Passover, which, by the way, we don't need to celebrate anymore because the Bible plainly says Christ is our Passover lamb, party people. But not only that, these guys get together at their Passover to show off, to try to find wives, to freestyle rap, to have concerts together, to come in brand new threads, literally. And so you're going to see a bunch of dog and pony show nonsense going on here with the ICGJC. Now, the ICGJC can't pull this off anymore. They're the smaller, they're a shrinking camp because of all the tax problems and because of some of their elaborate nature of Tazadakia, who leads it, the Holy Spirit, God, Sick Comforter, whatever. However, they've still got some credibility because even in this little picture, if you notice, they have Ariyah, the man who invented or ripped off, it's a little unclear, the 12 tribes chart as well as the fake language Lashwan Kodash, which unfortunately some of the people from the GMS group who are in the chat are utilizing, even though there's no historical basis because it's a fake Hebrew language. That's why we call it Harlem Hebrew. So here's what I've done. This video is long, so I sped up these clips. So these clips are going to go by real fast, right? And so you're going to see them marching, and it's going to look because it's double speed, but you're still going to get a sense of the elaborate nature of the Passovers. Here we go. This is important to understand the background to the marches. And again, Abu Khamr, who is now with us, I'm going to bring him up after this video, did a great job on this video. By the way, hit that like button, grab and share this link.
And it's also worth noting they would then post videos of those celebrations online to highlight highlight their numbers and their organization. And I'd like to show a few clips from the Passovers of the ICGJC from 2008, from 2009, and from 2015, so the viewers might get a sense of this trend. So up first is their Passover from 2008.
Oh, I didn't speed this one up. It's kind of hot, though. It's hot, right?
Now, here is their...
Now, guys, if you would open up the Bible and read about the Passover in the Old Testament, it literally would probably look just like that, right? That is how, that's exactly, when I read the Bible and I read about the Passover, that is almost pretty much exactly what I picture it like, because that's Passover according to the Hebrew Israelites, right? And that's what Passover's like. I mean, actually, it kind of looks like a hot hip-hop concert, so I'm kind of with it, right? I mean, Israel, a time is now. That was kind of hot. Now, these get a little fast, but they're going to get more elaborate, so here we go.
Significantly more well-organized Passover from 2009. It seems to capture the pinnacle and zenith for the ICGJC.
One share general to 13 share general, please take the place. Bishops of boroughs and bishops of states, please take the place.
They announce each title before the guys come marching out.
42, chief priest, please take the place.
42 chief priests of the Comforter. What that means is 42 yes men. That's what that translates to. 42 yes men.
Now, take a look at their Passover from 2015, which seems to be an attempt to recapture and replicate the glory of their 2009 Passover.
Tippy Bear said, "This is like watching a cheer bash with the cheerleaders getting announced." I'm sorry. Actually, I didn't know the term cheer bash, and I've never been to one of these things, but I can imagine exactly what you're saying. It just, oh man, that's funny. Okay, keep on going.
The Conference 42 chief priests, take your seats. Members of the Order of the 12 Apostles, take your seats.
Members of the Order of the 12 Apostles, take your seats.
Members of the Order of the 12 Apostles, take your seats.
Hey, I don't think this is biblical. A woman is bossing them around. You hear that? In fact, a woman announcer is telling them to sit down. I don't know, guys. ICGJC, I didn't think you guys were okay with women telling you what to do. Oh, 5 from Lead in the Super Chat. Thank you. Now we're at 30, so 20 more, and you guys will get 2 freestyles out of me.
I devoted so much time in this video to the ICGJC for 2 reasons. First, because they were the largest group of One West groups. Second, and I think more relevant, because it seems to me that IUIC has clearly supplanted the ICGJC as the largest group.
All right, so on the top is IUIC. I'm actually turning the volume down for the video. I want to say something real quick. At the top is IUIC. They are now currently the largest One West Hebrew Israelite group. In the beginning of this video, you saw them doing the march. Their march on Memphis was 800 people, and now they're referring to it as if it's a milestone. Now, they gather people from all over the country to be able to do that. Nonetheless, for Hebrew Israelites, that was pretty impressive, 800 people. And Abu makes the point at the end that actually another precedent within sort of these alternative urban spiritualities comes out of the Nation of Islam. You guys see the Nation of Islam pictured there? By the way, I'm going to post this video tomorrow. No, GMS Gergerloins, I'm not going to post the link because the video is not done. Well, Abu has a finished copy. He can post his.
Was depicted in a major...
Hey, so Abu, if you want to post your link of yours, but mine's going to be a shortened version, I'm going to post it tomorrow. So GMS Gergerloins, you can watch on whoever's channel. Abu's the one who made it. So check this out, guys. This is a Nation of Islam march. Now, the Nation of Islam also was losing clout. They don't really have ability to do this anymore. Nonetheless, notice, Roxby just put us into 2 freestyles. Wow. notice that the kids are joining in. This shows the sort of admiration it garners, and you can understand why. There certainly is a wow factor to this, and here it is as depicted in the Malcolm X movie. This actually happened in New York, by the way, everybody, under Malcolm X. Now, granted, the reason this happened was actually fair. I don't know the full background, but basically, there was some violence that had happened, and the black folks were wronged in this situation, and I think they were trying to do something like take him to jail instead of taking him to the hospital. And Malcolm X was right in this instance. He said, look, we're going to do this, and we're going to show you we're not going to be violent, but what we're going to do is we're going to show you sort of who we are, right? And the Nation of Islam marched, and the cops, God bless their souls, actually listened, and I think the guy got medical attention that he needed. So I'm glad about that. Now, Abu, you are live. Let's see if the audience can hear you. By the way, we got enough to freestyle here. Abu Khamr, how you doing? Welcome to Backpack Radio, bro.
Greetings, and good evening to everybody coming from New York City.
Now, I thought you had like a little image you put up for your profile, but I don't see it. I must be doing. Do you have it up? I must be doing something wrong, because I'm gonna take you off then, because it's not showing it, and so it's basically just my face next to the Skype logo. You're not off, but what I'm saying is I'm gonna take the Skype logo off because you're not showing up. So let me
see. I'll try it this way. Let's see. What about now?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's just a black screen. All right, hey guys, sorry, you're just gonna have to see my mug. Okay, so Abu, you did a great job making that video. Break down some stuff that was not necessarily covered in the video. MJ Jackson, member of Shield Squad, what's up to you, bro? I see you with the super chat. Break down some stuff that's important for people to see, because we're going to circle back around right now, and I'm about to show some images, and you and I are going to exegete them from a recent march. So just everyone, let me reset real quick. Abu's he's going to mention some things. We started off showing you a news story from last week when about 100 Hebrew Israelites from the ICGJC camp marched on the Capitol. Now, their communications arm of the movement apparently is suffering because nobody knows why they were protesting or marching. They were out there with bullhorns. Nobody knows, but they were out there. And so now we're giving you some historical background to the One West-styled Hebrew Israelite groups marching, as well as a larger tie-in with these alternative urban spiritualities such as the Nation of Islam. Now, what we're going to do is go to some pictures after Abu makes some comments, because again, he made the video, and break down as much we can the event that happened last week, which not many people have covered, but I think it's relevant to urban apologetics. Abu, tell us about that video and how it ties in with the news story that we're covering, my man.
Well, I mean, it shows just that it's part of the same stream of them doing these attempts to make these impressive displays of numbers and organization, and I do think it's a form of. It's funny that in the video you saw I believe as Rakha said that we used to call them missions, because independently of him, I was going to say it's almost like a form of missionary work. It's a form of drawing attention to their group, and it is interesting that the ICGJC themselves did not promote it, but the more I think about it, I think we might somehow have expectations that are built by the IUIC promoting their recent march in Memphis, while now that I think about it, the ICGJC, they sort of have a history of using this more for private consumption. They don't do it to spread it out to everybody over the internet. They do it to impress people locally, and then also within their church, they show the footage to them. So, for example, when they did that thing to Light and Body Church, and to Rakesh Shayar, who's now the leader of GOCC in Philly, where they surrounded him, they didn't put those videos on the internet, but they did put a little bit of clips from that into their DVD, Purge Out the Rebels, I think, or they had a clip of Ramakad, who is another member of another leader in Light and Body Church. They got him to say something like, something to the effect of like, I apologize for, coming out against you, out your name or something like that, calling you out your name and saying you're not the comforter, whatever. But I guess
just so everyone understands, the numbers display made a member of a rival camp apologize for not referring to Tazadakia as the Holy Spirit manifested in the flesh. That's what he was just now saying. Just I want to make sure that's clear to everybody here. Oh, look at this. GMS Emmanuel says marching is not biblical. Wow, that's very interesting. GMS,
I wonder who that is. Is that one of the elders or is that a new guy? I don't know who he is. So
isn't that interesting? So again, we see the difference even among One West. Well, hey, GMS,
even amongst members of GMS, you just showed a clip of them praising it, of Rakah and Tahar praising the past when they used to do this, do their quote unquote missions to show the power.
So let me ask you, GMS Emmanuel, if you were there back at the old One West school, 30 years ago, and Ariyah told you to go march on a mission along with, who was it, Gabar? Who was that in the clip speaking? Was that Gabar?
Oh, and Philly? The thing in Philly?
Yeah. No. The guy.
Yeah,
I said missions.
Oh, that was Tahar who said that.
No.
Oh, no, Rakah. I'm sorry.
Rakah. So different than Rakah. So Rakah, he would have been out there, and so would have Tahar if he was ordered to do this by the higher-ups, say the seven heads. So are you telling me that you would have told them back then, GMS Emmanuel, that you're not going to go march with them? By the way, it's funny. You guys find a way to justify everything. Like when I deal with you on the street and you curse me out, you say, oh, look, Paul cursed those who taught salvation, who the Judaizers, which is funny because that means, according to your rendition, Paul would be cursing you because when he said anathema in Galatians, so you guys think that's okay to curse. What it's saying is if you hold to some other gospel, you'll be damned. That's what he's saying. But nonetheless, you guys interpret that as you're allowed to curse me out. So it's funny you say that's from the Bible, cursing, and all that, but you can't see marching in the Bible. I'm not saying what they're doing at Passover and these street marches are biblical, but certainly people are marching in the Bible. I mean, Joshua, right? Around the walls of Jericho. I mean, there's all kinds of marches. I'm surprised GMS wouldn't justify it like they do everything else with a precept, but I guess they don't. I think the real reason is GMS is just simply not organized enough to pull off a march. But go. Sorry, man, I'm being feisty. But go ahead, Abu. Go ahead, man.
No, yeah, I mean, it's not my intention to disrespect them, but I do think there is a sort of express disdain for this when it's other groups doing it. Mm-hmm. So they want to downplay the very successful, impressive march of IUIC, and so too still impressive numbers amongst the ICGJC. And I think they do that because of their disdain for these groups and not wanting to give them any credit. But the thing is, we saw footage of Tahar himself speaking positively about the practice when it was done at One West, 20 some odd years ago or more.
Yeah, excellent point.
If I can say one quick thing about that thing in Philly. So the Purge Out the Rebels DVD, they showed the guy from Light and Body Church apologizing, but you couldn't see the crowd there. And so it was Light and Body Church and guys like Rakah Yar who released all that footage of all these guys appearing. And that's why the ICGJC had to come out later and say, oh, nobody touched you. That was just a cloud of witnesses,
Right. Excellent points as usual. Now, I want to show a few clips, everybody, of... in the modern era, 2016, these are very short clips of when the Hebrew Israelites actually, this is ICGJC, marched on the Capitol in 2016. So these are from a cell phone, and the people who took them clearly don't understand what's going on. They don't understand the reasons or the group or anything like that, but they're intrigued by it nonetheless. And so what I want to do is I want to just show you these real quick before we get into the current news story. So here's the first clip, everybody. Check this out.
Praise the wall?
I don't know. I'm sorry. Everybody, what they're saying is praise Yahweh. They're saying praise Yahweh. That's their name and their fake language for God. Although you see they're inconsistent because the Israelite Church of God and Jesus Christ, in their name, they don't use their special language. They're trying to more mainstream with their name. If you notice, they call themselves the Israelite Church of God and Jesus Christ, but here they are with their special language, the same group, saying praise Yahweh. But listen to the person taking the video. She says, praise the wall. I'm sorry. So listen, it's only a 15-second clip, but this is ICGJC marching in what looks like to be even more numbers back in 2016 when they are marching on the Capitol or near the Capitol. than in the current thing when they had about 100. I think this is a more impressive display because they are a shrinking camp. But listen to this and watch this one more time.
Raise the wall? I don't know.
Praise the wall. Okay, there's one more I'm going to show you. There's one more show you. And it's very short. It's from the same event. Someone else's. This is only 24 seconds. Check this out. Now, aren't you glad that you watch Backpack Radio? Because now if you're ever going down the street and you see a bunch of guys, you'll know what's going on. You'll know what's happening, you know? Okay, I'm sorry, I got to deal with this real quick. GMS Lions Den, first of all, your guys' names are hilarious. This guy calls me Voscab. Voscab, you get most of your views talking about Israelites. GMS Lions Den, could you go into my YouTube channel now? And I want you to search for most watched videos. And look at the top 10. And then I want you to come back in a few minutes and tell me how many of those are from discussions about Islam and how many are about Hebrew Israelites. And just come back to me with that information. That'd be good to talk to you about that. Okay, so Abu, do you know anything about the 2016 ICGJC March?
I don't. I don't know anything about that particular march, and I think that's another example of them doing it privately. It was obviously some sort of a thing for the internal consumption of the church. You know, I'm sure the members of the church were impressed by that and shown footage of that or something, or at least told stories about it. You know, it was for their sake and maybe for local conversions and stuff like that, local missionary work. But no, they literally never put that on the internet.
Oh, GMS Emmanuel, I got to give you a timeout. So we allow you guys to be here and disagree and make fun of me, but once you start cursing, I put the curse word up on the screen just so everyone can see. Go ahead and give them a timeout, and hopefully when you come back, you can moderate your language. Even if you put F, 3 asterisks, that'll be acceptable. But you got to moderate your guys' self-control. Okay, so are you ready to exegete these pictures now, Abu? You're gonna need to watch this on the YouTube page. Or bring up the Getty images, or actually just bring up the images from the news article, because otherwise you're not going to be able to see it with me.
Yeah.
So
gotcha. The video's on a time delay.
Yeah,
YouTube
but that would work, and I'll describe them before each one. But right now we're going to switch over, and we're going to take a look at these pictures from the march. Okay, so here's the first one. This is the first picture from the march. Let me scoot over. I'm in half the screen. It's in the other half. Let me adjust a little bit here. Okay, the first one. Abu, are you watching on YouTube or are you looking at the...
I am, but there's a delay, so it's not up on the end yet.
Okay, let me... I'm going to need to temporarily remove or make this really small here.
I can see it now. It's the gentleman standing in front of the Capitol building. He's the white turban and dressed all in black.
Yes. All right. So
interestingly, can you see a gentleman in the background, another tall gentleman in the background, who's standing near the lamp?
Yeah, I do.
So that guy stands out for me because I don't know what his rank is. I don't know who that is, but he was also present. Because he stands out. He's a tall gentleman, and I guess he it's easy to spot him in a crowd. He was also at that event in Philly where they surrounded Light and Body Church.
Oh, really?
13 years ago. Yeah, if you watch that footage, he appears on the sidewalk. He stood out for me. And I don't know who he is, but I only recognize him because he stands out so well. He's a taller gentleman.
Maybe he just likes to march. Maybe that's how he keeps his physique going.
It shows he's a loyal ICGJC member to be doing this for 13 years, and he's and still at it. I'm sure he has an interesting sense of the history of these marches. Not that he would necessarily discuss it with us, but
right.
I'd certainly like to pick his brain on that.
But some people are noticing that it looks cold there, Probably does. So that's good. So what we're doing right now is exegeting. These pictures are, again, from last week, everybody. The Hebrew Israelites marched on the U.S. Capitol. Only a few news outlets covered it. Most only covered it with pictures. And one, we got a story, but it wasn't much of a story, but at least some media was there. So we're exegeting it because this relates to urban apologetics. When you have a news event like this, we're going to talk about it. And so I'm going to go to the next picture, Abu, if that's fine with you.
That's fine. You might have to describe it for me.
No problem. So here we are, the next picture, everybody. And in this one, a man has a small little red book. I'm going to tell you about that red book. That is the Oxford Apocrypha. The Hebrew Israelites love the Apocrypha. Now, the Apocrypha has its value, certainly, but it's not canonical or God's word in my understanding and theological belief, but I'm just pointing out, regardless of your view of the Apocrypha, that you know that's what they're holding there, the red Apocrypha, and it looks like a number of the gentlemen are opening, so they may be doing some sort of group reading. If you notice, the guy next to him also has his red Apocrypha, the guy behind him also has his red Apocrypha, and a number of the men are looking down at their red Apocryphas. And then, of course, you see the classic KJV tattered Bible. They do not believe in getting new Bibles. Now, it kind of gives them a cool look. You know, they're in this regalia. They got this red Apocrypha, and they got a cool tattered Bible. I mean, it has a certain interesting look to it. But can you see the picture now, Brother Abu?
Yes, I can.
What you want to break down out of this picture?
Well, it's interesting that there was a lot of these 42 chief priests are there. That's interesting. So you see somewhat lower ranking members there as well. It is interesting that they have a lot of higher ranking guys. I guess they had to get a lot more of the loyal rank and file to do it, people who are deeper in it. That's my assumption. As for it striking an impressive visual, I think that's something that came up in the chat and also in the video. I think for young men who are searching for something, this does convey a sense of order and, a sense of discipline that I think appeals to some young men,
All right, we're going to go to the next one. Now, in this one, they've got the megaphones out. And I want to point something out very interesting to you, that if you weren't watching this with us, most of you would not notice that, and that's nothing personal against you. But I'm going to blow this picture up just a tad so you can see this a little bit better. You see the man there in red who somebody's holding the microphone part for him to the megaphone, so apparently he's doing the speaking. Looks like he's doing the reading there because he's got his finger on the page, so clearly he's the reader in this situation. The guy next to him is probably the preacher. Look on the top of his head. You see he has a Star of David, by the way, which not all the groups are aware, but he does. Everyone notice the Star of David there? It has a hole in it. Abu, can you explain to the carefully viewing audience of Backpack Radio Live, why is there a hole in the top of this man's do-rag?
Well, first to explain, they cover their heads, and some of them have turbans, which they call mitris, or some more properly miters or meters. But the process of wearing turbans comes out of the origins of like these One West groups. That was a practice amongst the various Israelite groups that existed before One West. But as they accepted the New Testament, there's the issue of not covering your head, which comes up in the writings of Paul. So this is their attempt at a happy medium. This is the via media for them. They wear the turban, or the mitri as they like to call it, or sometimes just this head bandana, but they also open it up so that way they can simultaneously not cover their head while covering their head.
Right. I like the way you describe that. What about on the right? It appears to be someone who many people would probably assume is a white guy.
Yeah. Well, I guess if I had to guess, the gentleman probably falls somewhere on their tribes chart, But the other issue is we've seen it with GMS. They're willing to open it up to people who affirm their doctrines yet don't fall on the tribes chart. And the ICGJC, while I can't cite any examples of them doing it, did flirt with doing that. Like they used to flirt with doing that when they would talk about in Revelation 7, after they mentioned the 144,000 to 12,000 from each tribe, there's another group that just can't be counted from every nation and every linguistic group and so on. And the ICGJC would say those are Israelites who didn't look like Israelites, and those believers are all over the world. And I always took that as them hinting that they are and they're flirting with the idea of opening it up to people that don't fall on their tribes chart, something that GMS has done and something that I think IUIC is sort of doing now as well, at least with their West African explorations.
Now, Abu, it's obvious that Hebrew Israelites should not let white guys join the camp. You know why? Out of everyone in the picture, this man has no facial hair. Clearly, he's not an Israelite. Okay, now this guy looks like his team just won a soccer match. He's got his hands up in the air. Now, I know some people might see this and think, man, these guys are really angry. Well, you don't have to say he's angry. What if he's just, like, amped up? He's, like, really excited. Like, his wife just called him, the babies are born. He's got his headphones in. Like I said, his favorite soccer team just won their match. There could be all kinds of reasons. He's just amped up. He doesn't really look angry. The guys in front of him look kind of happy and nice, but I do love this picture because this dude is ecstatic. This dude he's cranked up all the way to 11. But this shows you sort of the power of the ritual in all seriousness. I don't know if you want to comment on this one, Abu, before I go to the next one.
No, I mean, there's certainly passion there. And I think these gatherings, when they begin to yell, it's a thing you can see in any religious gathering, including Christian gatherings, that enthusiasm can build as the group begins to chant or yell or sing together. It certainly builds a sense of camaraderie and excitement.
Hey, a lot of the GMS people are saying we lied about them or slandering. Listen, GMS, I'll hear you out. Type to me in the live chat what we're saying that's a lie.
He's saying that I said that they allow other nations. So let me clarify. Thank you. It's not that you allow other nations. It's that you allow people who don't fall on your tribe's chart, i.e., people who are not Puerto Ricans or African Americans or Native Americans. So you would treat them as Israelites who aren't from any of those places or ethnic groups listed on your tribe's chart. They're sort of mysterious as to where they're from, what tribe they're from.
They call them
confusion of faces deal.
Yeah, they call them confusion of faces. That's what he's referring to. So
Israelite foreigners, I've seen another guy call them.
Right. So GMS, what we're referring to is most people understand these people's lineage, the not work, but you guys make a way. Okay. Oh, look, GMS Lions in says, thank you, please clarify. Okay, that's legit. All right, so here we go to the next one. Now, you notice you see a police officer here. Now, I bet you they had no problems with the cops. I'm telling you, man, these Hebrew Israelites, I've seen more and more videos where they can almost get away with anything, and the cops will not bother them. I don't know what the deal is. Now, the Hebrew Israelites in the chat are going to say it's Yahweh's on their side or something like that. But the cops very rarely bother the Hebrew Israelites. They tend to bother people preaching against them more than them. Now, I do notice he has a megaphone. I don't know if he took one of the Hebrew Israelites' megaphone away or if he's got his own. But do you see the picture there with a cop talking to him?
I do see it. Real quick about the police, and I would say that the ICGJC generally is very disciplined and law-abiding. They're not, they're rarely out there fighting with people.
The exception is definitely that Bay Area San Francisco camp. They'll put hands on
I mean the ICGJC specifically. The Bay Area guys, that's a GMS camp.
Okay.
And GMS is also somewhat controlled as well. But the ICGJC in particular, much like IUIC, is very disciplined in the street and so forth. Therefore, I don't think the cops would have anything to worry from them. And in general, the Israelite groups are refrain from violence. In terms of the ICGJC, I don't know, but the last instance of violence from them was ironically them attacking GMS in Harlem about 13 years ago.
I'm sorry. That's why GMS is in here saying ICGJC sold out to the devil and all that type of stuff. We won't get into all the intercamp rivalries. This show's not really about GMS. It really more is about ICGJC, everybody. But I look at this. And, you guys are looking at this, and some of you guys, I'm being tongue-in-cheek for some of this, but let me tell you, a lot of these guys are professionals in their jobs and in their life. These are fathers, these are family members. A lot of these guys have professional jobs and kind of almost have two lives. And so I bet
real estate agents and dentists and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
I bet you these guys know how to talk to cops just fine when they need to. All right.
Well,
go ahead.
IUIC, the leader of IUIC, was a former detective, and I know that his rivals use that as a way of smearing him. That's not the way I intend it.
Right.
But just to say, and I'm sure there's been others. There's people who are security guards and cops and stuff like that who are also members of Israelite groups.
Security guard, CO, something like that is a very common profession among the One West groups I've noticed. So here's this guy. He's pointing. Now, who's he pointing at? I don't know. I didn't see any white people or Edomites or Ishmaelites out there on the scene, so I don't know if they're pointing. Maybe they're pointing like, "You the man." You the man.
If I had to guess, I would. from the I mentioned this earlier in the chat. When VH1 about 13 years ago, when they did their video on the Israelites and they showed Tazadakia and Arya marching somewhere, I think they were in Brooklyn and they were outside a police station. And Tazadakia was doing that. He was like pointing at the police and yelling things like "Your days are numbered."
Oh yeah. They might be talking to the cop like that. Yeah, you might be right.
Or the Capitol building itself. You know, the power structure. Esau, as they would say, you know, your days are numbered. You know,
Babylon's
any minute
coming
now they can
down. Yeah,
exactly that kind
2019, 200 missiles are coming and they're gonna turn this place into the lake of fire. Yeah. Okay. There's let me see. I think this might be. There's only like 2 or 3 more pictures, and then here's what we're gonna do, guys. I need the mod squad to start sharing the link to the other show. We're gonna shut down this show after I freestyle. And then we're going to come back. And because I think I owe you guys, I'm going to freestyle at the beginning of that show. And in that show, we're going to show Hebrew Israelites versus Muslims on the street. So we have about 5 minutes left of this. And then we're going to look at these pictures. I'm going to do a freestyle. We're going to shut it down. And don't go anywhere. Take a 5-minute break. And then come back to the new link. So everybody in my mod squad, post that link. Because this is an experiment. I'm trying to see if 2 shows will work better than 1 like this. Okay, Abu, in this picture, we've got the megaphones out. We got readers. It looks like they're looking at something, but I don't see anything special unless you recognize somebody in the picture.
No.
Okay.
No, nothing here.
And
just a lot of chief priests there, though. The 42 priests.
Okay, maybe that's a good time to explain that. Can you explain any of the symbolism on any of the clothing attire that you've seen thus far, Abu?
So you'll notice the gentleman on the left with the clean-shaven face. You can see his belt. It's the number 4 is on there, and you can't make out the 2. There's a 2 after it. Also, the color gives it away. That sort of brownish, golden brown color. These are higher-ranking guys. So the color schemes symbolize ranks. So the gentleman in gold is 1 rank. The gentleman in the sort of brownish gold is a higher rank, and the gentleman in red and white are a lower rank. I don't know the exact titles for all of this, though.
And so you see there's a definite hierarchy to this, and by the way, they're not elders and deacons. It's captains and chiefs and generals and all this kind of stuff.
Bishops. They also have bishops.
Bishops
of states, etc. Yeah, there's one gentleman from the Antichrist unit that's recognizable in one of these pictures who's a bishop. If I recall correctly.
This is the straight up red and white garb in this picture. It's kind of funny if you know this guy has camouflage underneath his red and white. To be honest, I don't really think that color coordinates all that well or stylistically, but hey, you got to wear something underneath there. I guess it's better than leggings, right? But in here you see an older gentleman, if you guys notice, and you look at the background. I love this picture because they're kind of sort of in line there, and in the far back you can still see some guys lingering around there, and the Capitol's clearly in view. I
assume they're marching away.
That's a good picture, though. That could be a
indeed. All of them were pretty impressive, these pictures, and they points to the ICGJC for their organization and their ability to put on a interesting public display.
And this is I'm going to make a theological comment while this other picture is coming up. This is my view. Abu may or may not share it. That's okay. I'm going to just speak this. Part of the reason I believe relies upon their theology. I don't really view these groups, even if they'll give lip service to a God who's in control or charge, as really believing that in a way that I find credible. And here's what I mean by that. God is in charge of salvation, I believe, when I read the scriptures. These groups, I think, work extra hard and overtime at image casting and portraying a certain look because it's very important to their salvific endeavors. So this is almost like a missionary effort in their mind. And you may think, what good are they doing? But there are people, for certain reasons, that will be very impressed by this. And so it is what it is. People were asking about the number 42. The number 42. Is that in honor of Jackie Robinson there, Abu?
No. It's
by the way, just so everyone knows, I'm joking. I'm joking around, people.
Of course. It actually came up in that 2009 Passover clip that you showed. They mentioned the 42 chief priests. So it's a special, I guess they could be called sort of an elite group. They're higher up members, higher ranking members, and there's supposedly 42 of them. I don't know if there's actually
right.
Because similarly, under Tazadakia, you have maybe it includes him, the Order of the 12, but they don't actually have 12 members. So
What
it's
about
open to possibility that the 42 don't actually have 42, but nonetheless, it's like an elite unit within the church.
So they're the Navy SEALs of the ICGJC. Tell people about this flag. What about this flag there, Abu?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I think it's interesting. The ICGJC sort of seems to have this pattern over the last decade and a half of trying to provide an alternative to the surrounding popular culture. So they have their own national anthem, they have their own award ceremonies, they set up My Truth Journal to be their own social media network. The flag is their own flag. That's the flag of they call it the flag of the Nation of Israel. It's essentially the ICGJC's flag, and you'll notice it's pretty similar to the flag of the United States. It seems to clearly be inspired by it, except that, the bars are turned vertically, and it has 6-pointed stars rather than pentagrams.
What about the other thing that kind of looks like a little Air Force insignia?
Yeah, that is, if I'm not mistaken, that's an homage to Tazadakia, because that's the Comforter. That's the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit. But I remember when they first set up the Comforter.info, that website, they would have this sort of symbol of the dove as an allusion to that. So I think that's what that is. It's sort of an allusion to the Holy Spirit, and indirectly an allusion to the Comforter, which would be an allusion to Tazadakia.
Are you sure the 42 isn't that they're giving a nod to the enormous supercomputer Deep Thought from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Because according to that, 42 is the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything.
Oh, there you go.
Just kidding.
Then maybe it's that.
Yeah, sure. Sure, they're big, what's his name, Douglas Copeland fans. Okay, we've already saw that picture. We've already seen that picture. Okay, so that makes it for the pictures. Well, guys, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to freestyle. While I freestyle, share the link to the next show. We're going to shut down for about 5 minutes. This may or may not work because we have 130 people watching right now. Actually, it's going on 140. So we're shutting down to start a brand new show. The next show is only going to be about 20, 30 minutes long. It's going to be a shorter show than this. I have my reasons for doing this. It's an experiment. I'm going to see if this way works. Abu, final words while I hook up this beat.
No, just looking forward to the next one. It's an interesting subject, the convergence of Islam and One West Israelites in American cities.
Here's the teaser, everybody. In the show, we're going to come back. We're going to show some Muslims debating some Hebrew Israelites. And guess who's going to be out there among the Muslims? It's going to be Muhammad Hijab. That's right. In this clip I'm going to show you, you're going to see in New York City, Hebrew Israelites debating Muslims, and Muhammad Hijab, who just debated David Wood, is gonna be there. So here's the closing freestyle. I love this beat. Thanks to Jonathan Soko. Share the link while I do this, y'all. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Drop the beat. What's up, Michelle Marie? What's up, Gerard Repair Me? How you doing, Mr. Marky from Cleveland? I'm believing again. Rocking the mic, no thieving. I'm not stealing nothing, I'm feeling something. I got the beat back, now I'm reeling something. I'm never fronting, and that's alright. What's up to Isaiah and lead it for Christ? Grab the mic, and then I scorch. What's up, my man, Johnny Torch? You know we keep it going like a Florida. Yes, y'all see a warrior woman with the ill vote count. I grab a microphone, make the party people bounce. I bounce, I'm out, I'm rocking, no doubt. Okay, I messed up, so now I gotta shout. It was Adams, not Copeland. Oops, my bad. What's up, all the party people I have to thank you for the super chat. So now I come again with the super rap. Some of y'all Hebrews are super rats. I'm just kidding, that's super snaps. I got super dap from the apologists. Rock the mic and I'm calling this obvious. Start a new show in a second. It's gonna be 20 minutes, yo. But we'll start like maybe in 5. I rock the mic, make it all the way live. I will survive like Beyonce. Married to Christ more than fiance. Yes, y'all, cause I'm part of the ride. Read Revelation, I will survive until the end. Resurrection, glorification. Here I come again, preach the salvation, preach the gospel. Hebrews are hostile sometimes, but they still like a fossil when they acting hard. Hey yo, check this out. My angels will guard me. Thank you, Lord. Hey, here we record. Here we go. Don't be bored, yes, y'all. And now we score like Jordan, number 23 or maybe 45. You're looking at me, Isaiah T, and KDU, B, bless the GMS. Yes, yes, y'all are fresh in your own mind. I will rhyme, it's kinda divine. You will find from the top of the mind. That's my design, I'm like an ensign. Here's my sign, it's called peace, it's the end of the beat. Alright y'all, we're starting the new show right now. Put the link in there, go to my channel. The next show is already ready to be started. And it's going to be Hebrew Israelites versus Muslims on the street, including Muhammad Hijab. 5 minutes, starts a new show.